Okay, so today's, if you look at the title of today's and you look at the title of the notes we did last time, it's exactly the same title. The only difference is instead of day 1, it says day 2 today because it's kind of we're moving on. The other nice part is today's, the steps are exactly the same as the notes we took last week, which was the same as the assignment we did yesterday in class, right? Steps are exactly the same. The only difference today is that there's some steps that look a little different. That's it. They look a little different, but nothing that you've never seen before. Okay? So it's the same steps that we've been using. Okay? So let's go on and let's look at number 1A. Let's look at number 1A. It's a fraction minus another fraction, just like you guys had last time. Okay, that hasn't changed. So the first step that we do, factor the denominators. Well, the difference, this is one key difference. Last time, your denominators look like this, right? Look like that. That's a monomial. So you factor it this way. Today, they're not monomials. They're either binomials or trinomials. So the first thing we have to do is factor the denominators so that we can come up with a common denominator. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is do that. Okay? Yes. Yeah, go for it. So the yellow, let's start with the yellow. Alex, can you close the door too? Yeah. X plus 7, or sorry, not x plus 7, x squared plus 6x plus 8, the yellow part. It's not a monomial, it's not a binomial, it's a trinomial. So how do we factor those? Steps are right there, right? First thing is, does the yellow have a GCF? Is there a GCF in the yellow? No, skip that step. Next step is ABC. So with the yellow, we're going to do ABC. We've done that before many, many, many times. 1, 6, 8. So we're looking for the numbers that multiply to be 8, add to be 6. 2 and 4, yeah. 2 and 4. So we're going to put those up here. Plus 2, plus 4. That's the new yellow. It's the same thing, it's just factored. Same thing as the old yellow, it's just factored. And then there was a 7 above it, right? That 7 we haven't done anything with, so I'm just going to write the 7 right there. Okay. Now we're done with that, so now let's do the green. Factor the green. The green is a binomial. So binomial, we have these steps over here. So first thing is, does the green have a GCF? Nope. Besides 1, no. So is it difference of squares? Is that guy difference of squares? No, it doesn't have a square, doesn't have a minus, and 2 is not on my list of perfect squares. So no, it's already factored. And there was an X above it. Okay. That was step 1. Step 1 done. Factor the bottoms. So this is the new green over here. Okay. All right, next step. What's missing and what's needed? What's missing and what's needed? So look at the new yellow and the new green. What's missing and what's needed? The green needs an X plus 4, right? So I'm going to include that over here, just like I did yesterday and the last time, and it's an X plus 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I got to do to the top. Okay, so now they're equal. So we know the common denominator is going to be X plus 2 and X plus 4. Okay, so I'm going to move them under the same fraction now because I found the common denominator. The next step, add or subtract the numerators. This step is kind of misleading because we don't really add or subtract, we just put them all together. Okay, so what do we put together? Well, we have a 7 over here, and then over here on this side, I have an x parentheses x plus 4 with a minus sign in between them. That's what I'm going to put on the top here. 7 minus x parentheses x plus 4. That's what we consider adding and subtracting. It's not really adding and subtracting, but that's what we consider it. That's step 4. Step 5, simplify. Simplify. So I know what a lot of you are thinking. Let's see if we can do it. How many of you are like, ooh, let's do that? Can we? Can we? If we can, go for it. If we can't, we can't actually do that. Why not? Because of this part right here. This x plus 4 is actually part of this right here. This is actually a binomial on top. You got 7, and then you have this part here. So it's connected with all of this. If this stuff wasn't here, I would say go for it. Gone. But because that's there, we can't do that. So that step is not available. Okay, so what do I mean by simplify then? How else can we simplify it? Starts with a D. Not divide, thought I heard somewhere. Distribute. Yeah, distribute. We can distribute this part here. Right? We can distribute negative 1x. So the 7 stays the same. So you have negative 1x times 1x. So you're going to get negative 1x squared. And then you have negative x times positive 4. Negative x times positive 4, negative 4x. The bottom stays the same. We're done with the bottom. I don't want to mess with the bottom because I found the common denominator. Are any of these on top? Are any of these in the numerator? Are any of them like terms? Can I combine any of those guys? No. So the only other thing that I would do is put them in order. X squared goes first, then x, and then the constant. I'm done. Simplified as far as I can. So we did every single step that you've done before. They just look a little different. The steps look a little different than they did for the last notes and the last assignment. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working through. All right, so now let's look at 1B. Okay, so what is 1B missing that we usually see? It's missing something. I heard it somewhere. Yeah, there's only one fraction. So how do we make this guy into a fraction? What do we do to make that into a fraction? Put a 1 under it. Yeah, we can always put a 1 under it. If there isn't there, we can always do it. Okay. Now we have two fractions that we're adding together. Okay. So I'm going to put parentheses around these guys because they're together. So now what we got to do is the first step. Factor the denominators. Okay. Start with the yellow. 1 is a monomial. So how do I break? I'm going to break it down like I did before. How do I break down factor 1? What is 1 broken down? What's the only way to make 1 multiplying? 1 times 1, right? So that one's just going to stay 1. It's already factored. Next one is x plus 7, the green one, the green. It's a binomial. Does the green have a GCF? No, it doesn't. Is it difference of squares? No. So it's already factored. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put the numbers in the top too. Okay. Next step. What's missing? What's needed? So the yellow, what is the yellow missing? An x plus 7. So I'm going to put an x plus 7 here, an x plus 7 there. And what is the x plus 7 missing? It's missing a 1. It's not going to change anything, but we want them to be balanced. We want them to be the same. Okay. Put them all underneath the same. So we have 1 out in front. You can put the 1 out in front. Not needed, but you could if you wanted to. Okay, so now I'm going to write everything I have on top. I have this on top, this on top, this on top. That's what I'm going to write on the top of the new one. Okay, exactly how it is. 2x plus 5, x plus 7, and then plus 1. 1 times 1 is just 1. Okay, step 4, adding and subtracting, that part is done. The last step is simplifying the top, simplifying the numerator. So how do I simplify this guy here? Again, can't do this because of this 1 here, plus 1. If this plus 1 wasn't here, if this guy was not here, go for it. But because of that plus 1, we can't do it. So how do we simplify the numerator here? What do you think we're going to do? Exactly. We've done this before. Multiply those two guys together. And we used the multiplication table last semester. We haven't done this semester, but we did it last semester. That's why first semester is so important, because it's the building blocks for the next semester. So things we did first semester, you're going to see again. You're going to be like, oh yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, we did that. That's why we do it. So we have 2x plus 5, x plus 7. Okay, so multiply, we get 2x squared plus 14x plus 5x plus 35. So once we multiply, we always look to see if we have like terms. Right there and right there. So we have 2x squared. Combine the two like terms, I get 19x, and then plus 35. The x plus, the 1 at the end, that was already there. So this part here, that's why I included it, because it was already there. Yeah, Alex? Oh, because the common denominator was just one of them, right? So now they're both equal? Nope, you just need one. This is a common denominator. This is a common denominator. So we just need one. They each only have one. Last step, we can combine some like terms here. We have 36, or 35 and 1 makes 36. So we have 2x squared plus 19x plus 36. And then on bottom, we have x plus 7. Done. Yeah, Brian? That's a good question. Can we do, if we can, we should. That's a great question. Should I simplify ABC using this? Yes, the answer is yes. The reason I didn't do it is because I did this problem last block and I know the answer, but let's look at it. Let's look at it. So if we were going to do ABC here, we would need the top would be 72 and the bottom would be 19, right? Because 36 times 2 is 72 and then 19. Are there two numbers that multiply to be 72 and add to be 19? 14 times 5, not 72. 14 and 5 is 70. Close. That if I add them together, that would make 17. That's close. The answer is there's some that are close, but there's none that would give you positive 19. So because of that, we don't do ABC. But if you could, absolutely do it. Yeah, I probably should have said that before I stopped before I boxed the problem. But yeah, you should always check those out. But yeah, we can't do it. There are no two numbers that make 72 and add up to be 30 or 19. 9 and 8 are close, but that makes 17. 16 and 4, I think. No, 16, 12 and 6, I think, but that's 18. So there's nothing, yeah. It's already factored. That means it's already factored. Okay. All right, so open it up or turn it over. Let's look at C. All right. First step. Factor. Yellow. Binomial. So does yellow have a GCF? No, it does not have a GCF. Skip that step. Is it difference of squares? It is difference of squares. So I would rewrite it as x plus 7, x minus 7. Okay, 2 is already on top. Okay, green. Green, x minus 7. That's a binomial. Does it have a GCF or is it difference of squares? Neither, right? Neither. So it's just going to stay x minus 7. And there was a regular 7 on top. Okay, what's missing? What's needed? An x plus 7 over here, right? An x plus 7 over here. And now they're balanced. Now they both have a common denominator, and that common denominator is just x plus 7, x minus 7. Okay. Add or subtract the tops. That means put these guys together right there. Signs and everything. So it's 2 minus 7 parentheses x plus 7. Again, I cannot do this because of this minus here. If that 2 minus wasn't there, go for it, but I can't do it because it's there. So to simplify, all you got to do distributive property. So we have negative 7 times x, negative 7 times positive 7, okay. Parentheses are gone. We need one more thing to simplify them. I have two things that are common denominator, or not common, like terms. Combine those like terms. I get negative 47. Done. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do we'll do D together, and then E and F I'm gonna leave you guys to do on your own. I'm gonna give you about some time to do it. So let's do D together, and then you guys can work on some on your own to see what you can give you some practice. Okay. Yep. 1 second. Let's see here. 6 plus 7. Oh, you're talking about the bottom? You could. It's not wrong. You could do that. So if you did a multiplication box here and put that answer here instead, that would be okay. Absolutely. You just don't have to take that step because we can't cancel anything out. You don't need to do that. You can if you want. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with it. If you wanted to do a multiplication box over here and write that answer instead, go for it. That's not wrong. It's the correct answer. Okay. Okay, so first one, green is a binomial. Oh, not green. Yellow is a binomial. Yellow is a binomial. What is that? Does that have a GCF or a difference of squares? It's not doesn't have a GCF, but it's very close to difference of squares. If that square was right there, you would have difference of squares. But since it's not difference of squares. So we just leave it as x minus 9. 2 goes on top. Green is a monomial. How do I break down x? How does x break down to? Like x squared broke down to x times x. What would x break down to? Just 1 times x, right? Or just x. Yeah. Okay. And then a 2 is on top of this one as well. What's missing? So what is the yellow guy missing? Good. It's missing an x. I had some people say, well, doesn't it already have an x? Isn't there already an x there? The answer is no. It's got an x minus 9. X minus 9 is different than x. X take away 9 is different than just x by itself. And then this guy over here needs an x minus 9. So my common denominator is going to be x minus 9. You can put the x on the other side, or you can put it in the front. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer. Okay, let's write the tops. So it's going to be 2x minus 2 parentheses x minus 9. Okay, simplify. So I got to do distributive property here. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 9 is positive 18. Bottom stays the same. Combine like terms. What happens when I combine like terms? What do I get when I combine like terms there? Cancels out, yeah, 0, nothing there. All I'm left with is an 18, positive 18. So just like Alex said, can I multiply the bottom? Yeah, you could. You could distribute. You can distribute here. You don't need to. It would be x squared minus 9x. That's okay. If you have an x squared minus 9x on the bottom, That's okay. But you don't need to mess with the bottom anymore. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to work on E and F. E and F. I want you to work on those on your own. We're going to go over them, but I want to give you some time to work on them by yourself to see if you can do give you some practice. So for letter E, step 1, common denominators. So this one needed an x minus 5. This one needed an x minus 3. So that's my common denominator. And then I rewrote everything on top. I wrote it right here. Well, I had to do distributive property here and a multiplication box here. So you had to do both. So when I did distributive property, I got this answer here, 7x minus 35. And then when I did a multiplication box, I got that answer there. And then the last thing, combine like terms, and that was it. Okay. All right. Okay, last one. I'll do the last one right now because we're running low on time, and I want to make sure we got plenty of time, but I don't want to waste time. So let's go to the next problem. Last one. Letter F. Okay, so first thing, common denominator. So yellow is a trinomial with no GCF, so I got to do ABC for yellow. 1, -3, -18. -18 minus 3. Let's see, what two numbers multiply? 6 and 3. Okay, that's the new yellow factor. Then green, I have an x minus 6. That one's already factored. It's not that one's a binomial. The green is a binomial, and it doesn't have a GCF, and it's not different to squares either. So it's x minus 6. I forgot to write what's on top. And 5x. Okay. What's missing? What's needed? I need an x plus 3 right here. Yep. Okay, so let me rewrite as 1. I get x minus 6, x plus 3. And I rewrite as 1. So I rewrite this top part here, the numerator, and the new numerator. Just like how it's written up there. Okay. Simplify. Well, to simplify, I got to get rid of the parentheses on top. So there's a 1 out here that I need to distribute, and then I got to distribute the negative 5x. So when I distribute the 1, I just get x plus 2. When I distribute the 5x, I get negative 5x squared minus 15x. Okay. Last step, combine like terms. So I get negative 5x squared minus 14x plus 2. When I combine everything. All right. Okay, so behind you, there should be some tape. So if you're in the back, there should be some tape. So tape pass forward. If you didn't get a bathroom pass yesterday, make sure you fill out the survey on Google Classroom. If you fill it out, I can give you one. Most of you guys got one, but I think there was a few who did not. So if you haven't, fill out the survey, and I will give you a bathroom pass.